So earlier today, I did a video, a short, saying, "You ever wonder why I'm a skeptic?" And it's because I've been watching this game long enough to see the bait and switch coming before it even hits the hook. Trump ran in 2015 on Lock Her Up, man. I remember whenever Trump was running during that time, and he came kind of out of nowhere. I was going to Gold's Gym at the time before it was closed down, and I remember going into Gold's and watching Trump while I was working out, and I would be talking to people about Trump and saying I was going to vote for him, and they were like, "You're crazy. He's not a politician." I'm like, "This is the exact reason why I'm voting for him." The other thing is we're coming off of Benghazi, Hillary Clinton, and we were hearing lock her up, kind of like this video here that I use this video in my short earlier today.
Lock her up, and I felt, and I could have done it, but I felt it would have been a terrible thing. And then this happened to me. And so I may feel differently about it. I can't tell you, I'm not sure I can answer the question. Hillary Clinton, I didn't say lock her up.
Lock her up is right.
I didn't say lock her up.
For what she's done, they should lock her up.
I didn't say lock her up.
Crooked, you should lock her up.
I didn't say lock her up.
Lock up Hillary. If she were to win this election, it would create an unprecedented concept.
And he goes on to say about a president being locked up. Now, Clinton, also Epstein's friend, a globalist swamp creature. You remember that? But then what happened next, man? I remember. I was watching it because I was like, my guy won, man. I voted for him in the primaries, voted for him on election day, waited forever in line. And so I'm watching the inauguration luncheon that day, and Trump gave a freaking standing ovation to Bill and Hillary Clinton and said he respected them. Watch.
That President Bill Clinton and Secretary Hillary Clinton was coming today, and I think it's appropriate to say, and I'd like you to stand up. I'd like you to stand up. And honestly, there's nothing more I can say because I have a lot of respect for those two people. So thank you all for being here. And we're going to have 4 great years, hopefully, of peace and prosperity.
So that happened. That was the first crack in the armor, and then I started hearing about trust the plan, this and that. And then Hillary began attacking Trump and still nothing happened. She destroyed hard drives, got people killed, and so I was waiting, like, where's the 40 chess at? Then, the bump stock ban came, then warp speed, then the lockdowns. I'm like, man, when is the 40 chess like coming to fruition? Like, when is everything's getting exposed? It just never did. Then we had 4 years of Biden. And now, fast forward to 2025, we got the JFK files. Some of it stuff is redacted, but at least we got those. I thought, yeah, man, we're getting somewhere. Now, the Epstein ordeal. Obviously, I do believe files were doctored during the Biden regime by the DOJ. We have the judges blocking the unsealing of transcripts. And somehow the only person who died this week was Roy Black. Now, he's the one that got the Epstein sweetheart deal for Jeffrey Epstein, who let that demon walk out of jail for lunch breaks like he was on freaking probation every day, right? And guess what? He didn't just defend Epstein, he defended William Kennedy Smith, another dirtbag, right? Another elite covered. Now, he disappeared this week. He left Earth. Convenient. And I saw this post by this guy. I don't know this guy, but I thought, you don't announce that a former president committed treason via memes. You announce with indictments and handcuffs. Until that happens, everyone should view this as theater, extremely insulting theater at that. A thinly veiled attempt to move on from Epstein cover-up. I agree. What we've seen is a lot of smoke and mirrors, man. He said it best. This is theater, and extremely insulting theater. You don't announce treason with memes. He's right. You don't tease justice with Instagram clips. You bring handcuffs, or you just shut the hell up until people are getting arrested. But they won't, because apparently they're all in on it. Tulsi Gabbard and Pam Bondi, and even the other ones that we trusted, like Cash Patel and so on, they're demanding answers on TV while simultaneously helping bury the real truth. Now, I don't know if Tulsi Gabbard is, but Pam Bondi definitely is. She just literally dropped a Pfizer investigation while sitting in on the Epstein files. They're sitting on her desk. You can't make this up. But now they have to be unsealed. I thought they were sitting on your desk. I'm confused, man. Now, there's documents. I think I got the clip here. There's documents here. Is this it? Yeah. This is requested transcript citing public ends. This is one where it got shut down, right? Unlikely to be released. Unlikely to be released. We'll get back to her in a moment. But apparently, Trump is named. Is this it? No. Trump is named in the files. Okay. They said his name appeared multiple times. I came out with that today in the Epstein files. They said it was unverified hearsay, but now they're coming out saying it is. But now they're saying it's too sensitive to release because of the CP and victims' names. Right? But if we know that Donald Trump's name's in there and within the files, I don't necessarily believe it's criminal unless it was doctored that way. I don't foresee Donald Trump being like Jeffrey Epstein or Bill Clinton or anything like that. Maybe he had associations with Epstein. I don't think they were criminal. But if there was doctored information in there, Ghislaine Maxwell will be happy to tell that to all of us. I don't know what took so long for that to even come to fruition, but just come out and say it out of the gate instead of bringing the influencers up to DC holding the binders. Instead of all this back and forth, say, look, man, we got the files. Biden was sitting on them. Like, that's the thing. Like, I expected Biden to sit on them because his homies are in there. All right. His homies were on the Lolita Express going to the island. We didn't expect that from Trump. Okay. I think Thomas Massey said it best today. Let me play this clip.
Well, I don't think this issue is going to go away. I think it's going to fester over the August recess. I also think it's sort of symbolic of why the American people gave Trump the White House and gave us majorities in the House and the Senate. Is because they believed for so many years their votes didn't matter, that there was a group of people that were untouchable because of their power or influence or money, and that the DOJ couldn't get to them, that no matter who they elected, nothing ever changed, and that Trump would come up here and disrupt that. So the Epstein thing is symbolic, and it encapsulates why people were so excited to vote for Trump. And it's so it's not going to go away over August. I think it'll get stronger, and we needed 7 legislative days for my bill to ripen. We only got 6 before the August recess. So as soon as we come back, I'm going to collect signatures.
But he said it best. He said we voted for Trump to bring down the swamp. Okay. Now, I think that going into this, we know that Biden doctored evidence, come out with it, right? Don't be saying that it's a hoax. That's horrible to the victims. That's horrible to the people behind it, right? We don't need another loyalty test. We need answers, because this isn't about left and right anymore. It's about good and evil. And it's about who's protecting the swamp and who's actually draining it. Okay. We have Marjorie Taylor Greene coming out, says she's turning on Trump over the Epstein file. She tweeted this. Even Marjorie Taylor Greene is turning. She said it straight. You can't talk treason, blackmail, and cabals and then back down. You tell people the enemy is real, then you take them down. Otherwise, you're part of the enemy. You know, and then the clip I accidentally showed earlier is we have the Nelk boys. They got pre-scripted questions for Netanyahu. Okay. Controlled questions equals controlled truth. Now, Mark from Centerline, he sent me a text earlier this morning after watching my video last night. He reminded me of the Smith-Munt resolution in 2012 by Obama, which what that was is that, yeah, I think it's from 1948 or something like that. But Obama signed that we could run psychological operations, the government could, on Americans through media. So essentially Mockingbird. And it's been happening since. So we've had psychological operations happening through mainstream media, through social media, by restricting voices, by amplifying others, and so on. And this goes into the same thing as the Nelk boys here. And they're trying to push this agenda. I thought it was make America first, not make our greatest ally first, okay? But that's what's been happening, right? We literally find out that there's no transparency. It's propaganda. Now we have Gavin Newsom. Listen to this. He came to my state, and he will be the one selected for the next president. I've been saying that. Just wait and see. He will. He'll probably win the election. He was just on the Sean Ryan show. Why Sean Ryan had him on the show is, I don't understand why you would even give him a platform to even speak, to even seem relatable. I mean, he gave him a pistol on the show. He says, oh, I'm not anti-gun. He's already trying to break that. So listen to him here in South Carolina, in my state.
No, in relation to what Trump, where he is, but that's a whole other conversation. So I know that's tough, and I want to just end on this because it's serious, because what Lindsey did to you is pretty extraordinary. What he did to this community is pretty extraordinary. What he did to this country is just outrageous. And I'd be remiss if I didn't highlight this. That bill they just signed, that consigns our to the greatest transfer of wealth in U.S. history, from one generation to the next. Completely saddling our kids and grandkids. Trillions and trillions of dollars of debt. In order to finance the debt, to provide tax cuts for billionaires and corporations that didn't even ask for them in many cases. Certainly don't need them. Never done that.
And he's hitting us where it hurts, because in South Carolina, we don't like Lindsey Graham. Okay. You got this smooth talking, camera ready, looking relatable, while slamming Trump's good friend, Lindsey Graham, right here on red soil. Lindsey Graham is hated in South Carolina, but he keeps winning elections. Donald Trump's already backing him for the midterm elections, right? You want to drain the swamp? Why are you backing the swamp creature? Doesn't make sense. But the fact is that Lindsey Graham knows this, and Gavin Newsom knows this, and he's using this to his advantage. South Carolina is going to be like, well, yeah, he may be right. Then he's bringing up the big, beautiful bill. A lot of people don't know. People heard some of the punchlines pushed out by the Charlie Kirks and Benny Johnsons. But when you get into reading this thing, it gives more tax cuts to big corporations, real estate investors, the class that we're not part of. I was talking to a friend of mine. He's a famous actor. You would know him if I said it, but I don't name drop like that. The night before last. And what he said is, he said, this is more, it's not about right and left. He says it's about classes. He said you have this ultra elite and then you have the rest. And that's the difference. The ultra elite will take care of each other no matter what. And I think there's some truth to that. I think that's what you're seeing here. Newsom's not running in 2028. He's already been selected. The media is polishing him up like a trophy. Okay. And then we have declassified intel that popped up showing that Putin preferred Hillary Clinton, not Trump, because she was easier to blackmail. Russia had evidence of her alleged tranquilizer use. Get what? What? Think about that. They were sitting on intel that could have ended her career. Why hold it back? Leverage. Because no matter who wins, the puppeteers still are going to pull the strings. Hillary, Obama, Biden, different mask, same stage. But, you know, and we're seeing right now currently the same situation somewhat. Again, this judge here blocked again by Judge Reuben Rosenberg. What does that last name tell you? They'll tell you it's about grand jury secrecy. That's what they'll say. I say BS. If they wanted it out, they'd immediately declassify it faster than Hunter Biden's laptop. Okay. Crack pipe. Right? His crack pipe made the rounds on Twitter quicker than anything I've seen. But they don't want it out because too many names are on those lists. You know, I saw even today Trump was asked about Thomas Crooks. Okay. This kind of goes back into when we were talking a lot of videos about the drones in New Jersey. Okay. It was obviously foreign. We believe, we hope, and it wasn't something far sinister, but we hope it was just foreign. And Trump said he was going to get to the bottom of it. Within 2 weeks of presidency, Carolyn Levitt was up there saying, oh yeah, they were just hobby drones. The same thing Biden said. I've never seen a hobby drone the size of a Tahoe. Where do you buy that at on DJI? I'm curious. Even the police drones, $20,000 and couldn't keep up with them. They were coming out of the ocean from video from a police officer. But we heard the same spiel. Then Thomas Crook, still don't know anything about this guy who had like 7 burner phones with foreign SIM cards in it and foreign bank accounts and a whole slew of other oddities. But today or yesterday, Trump said this.
1 year after attempting to assassinate you, what is holding back the investigation on Thomas Crooks?
Well, they've reported to me and they've told me things, and they really say they haven't found anything that was abnormal. I would say this: the Secret Service was very brave because they were right there and they jumped on me. They made a mistake. They should have had somebody on that roof, and they should have had communication with the local police who also, they did a very good job. But they made some mistakes, and we have a whole different group of people now. I don't think anything can happen, but I think we have the best people anywhere in the world right now, and I think they've learned. And, they went into him very, in great detail. They gave me the whole thing, and what can I do? They say that it was just a nut job that was looking to do this, and I spoke with the FBI. The new FBI. I spoke to the
Lee Harvey Oswald, just a nut job, lone wolf. Yeah. Now I did see that Rand Paul say he's going to reissue a criminal referral to Anthony Fauci to the Trump DOJ. So we'll see. We'll see if something happens. Maybe it's 4D chess, but maybe it's not. I know that's terrible to hear. And going back to the Epstein, Alan Dershowitz, was on TMZ basically saying that to cut her a deal and she will give up the names. And he was saying it in a way that she has names. So there are clients that she is willing to give up. To me, this will close the book. It was his assistant. She booked everything. So let's get to the bottom of it. Let's bring down, and not just the clients, but the people really doing it. But I don't think the brutal truth is they're waiting for you to move on, guys. That's the brutal truth. To go back to TikTok, Netflix, back to sleep. They're stalling us with fake drama, lawyers, and we tried to, but the judge said no excuses. Meanwhile, children were trafficked. Deals were cut. Truth was buried. And the people who screamed the loudest about justice are all silent now. All of those guys, all of those conservative influencers that were screaming about Epstein, didn't eliminate himself, and so on and so on. They're saying move on. So I'll say what no one else will. If he will not release the files, the names, or get to the bottom of it, he's protecting someone. And if he's protecting someone, the question becomes why and how much longer are you willing to excuse it? This isn't about hating Trump. It's not about that I would have voted for Kamala, because there's not a chance in hell that I'd ever vote Democrat. Never. Right? But you can't keep waiting for the 40 chess when nothing ever happens. This should never be about worshiping anyone, because no one is above accountability. And I think that's the biggest thing. I think that people get upset when you question people when they've made promises that you went and voted, you waited in line in the heat, sweating, or in the cold, depending on your location. Maybe you worked for the campaign. You were hoping to see the country getting back to the Constitution, because it's so far from that. It's so far from that. You were hoping for accountability of these untouchable people. And if you still think your side's going to save you, you haven't been paying attention, guys. It's bottom line. There's no left and right. It's only good and evil now. That's all it is. And I know that a lot of my subscribers have been upset. They're like, saying, how could you have changed? It's not that I've changed. They've changed. I want the country to be what the founders designed it to be. And for truth, for justice, for taking care of American people, for protecting the Americans' wallet, not putting corporations in having their best interest, but not the Americans. You out there watching, you're struggling to pay bills, you're struggling to eat. When your kid's needing braces, you're like, I can't do it. And meanwhile, these billionaires, they get away with everything. But if you did even a tenth of what they've done, you'd never see the light of day. And I'm sorry, man. I can't back that. I just can't. I answer to a higher power. And I just cannot come on a video and promote something that goes against all of my ideologies. I just can't. The thing is, I will call it out no matter who it is. No matter who it is, right? And trust me, if I could make the change, I would, but I'm just a guy who films himself on YouTube. But at the end of the day, I think you got to take a hard look, man. Because if you're still believing that the trust the plan is happening, when has it ever really came to? You know, it's kind of like, you know, you talk about the billions of dollars still going to Ukraine. We got homeless veterans. We still have politicians trading. They put a little something in the bill, but it's easy to maneuver around. That's why they're not upset. Because trust me, if they were stopped completely from their insider trading nonsense, there'd be a mass exodus from Congress. They're not living off those salaries and those swanky multi-million dollar homes that you and I can only dream about. And the unfortunate reality is that a lot of people that are still believing in 6 months or a year, they're going to realize, because that's usually how it happens. The thing is, I think I'm a deep thinker. I maybe spend too much time thinking. And so I come to the realization of things a lot quicker than others. And so followers will already have left me and stuff. And then they're like, dang, a year later, that guy was right. But at the end of the day, no one's coming to save you. And it's kind of like what I've been preaching for all these years, man. I just did a short the other day. I thought it was fantastic. It was pretty much everything wrapped up into a minute. But becoming independent, being frosty, strident, and dangerous, being able to defend yourself, putting your family first, building your skill sets every day. And it doesn't have to be ninja skills every day. It could be developing your mind, reading books, becoming more aware. That's why I'm always like pushing reading, like Behold the Pale Horse, because I believe that knowledge and history will teach you more than anything that you can see on Instagram or YouTube for that matter. But I plan to start doing more videos about historical relevance of things, and it could maybe give you more insight. I also ask you that if you just click on this video to watch all my videos, because a lot of people will come in and hear one thing I say for a moment, not knowing what I've been saying for the past 3 weeks. It's important to know and not make judgment based off of one video, because you don't know what I've been saying. My YouTube channel is a continuation process. And so as I learn, I'm always going to express, I'm always going to speak the truth. I'm always going to try to give you the most information to help you at the end of the day. That's my goal, or else I'd still be making fires and cutting wood in half in the woods like I used to, or shooting guns in my videos. That's what I'd be doing. But I want you to think about this. Every delay is a confession. And until the truth is uncovered, there's no reason to be loyal to anybody. Anyway, guys, I do appreciate you hanging out with me. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Remember, stay frosty, stay strapped, always stay dangerous.